The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Bryan Board of Public Affairs meeting for September 17th, 2019. First on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the August 20th, 2019 regular meeting.
See no additions or corrections. Make a motion, we accept.
Second.
Dick?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen? Yes.
Next is a hearing of public concerns. Seeing none, clerk treasurer's report.
The board's been presented with the clerk treasurer's report for the month ending August 31st, 2019.
I'd like to make a motion to accept clerk treasurer's report.
Second.
Karen?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
Next is a request by Bryan Parks and Recreation Department for donation for street trees.
You have information in your packet regarding this program. As the board is aware, we've donated money toward replacement of street trees for probably 25 or more years. And back in the 90s, I think we gave $1,500 a year. It's $2,000 currently. But we've removed a lot of trees this year due to the line clearance program. Court has given us the information that 41 trees 5 inches or greater in diameter were removed this year, and that he estimates an additional 80 to 100 tree removals next year related to line clearance work, not including anything we're doing on the Marquis corridor, which we won't replace those. But they could plant more trees if they had some more money. Ben Dominic, the Parks and Recreation Director, put together a request for $4,000 this year instead of $2,000. And of course, with many of these trees, getting them out of the location where we have to go back and trim them repeatedly in the long term will save us money versus spending some money and getting the right tree planted in the right place. And our budget for line clearance this year is $150,000. It's a lot of money.
It just was like how many trees, I don't see it on here, how many trees you predict you can get for that amount of money?
Well, for $2,000, they're $145 a piece, so that would replace, 2,000 would replace 14, 4,000 would replace about 28 or 29 trees if they plant them there.
And Court, I went to your website, Parks and Rec website, and I see that you have trees in different height categories.
Correct.
Are you going to replant trees in the lower category up to 15 to, was it 15 to 30?
Yeah, if it's within the 25-foot zone of the utility, we're going to replant a small growing tree to be under 25 feet at maturity. If the customer so desires a larger tree, we would locate at a different location on their property. Of course, a larger tree provides a lot bigger benefit to the city overall as far as ecosystem benefits that the tree provides. So we prefer to plant large trees and just have them completely away from the line.
And away from roads in case of a tornado as well.
Right.
Damage.
So when you plant a tree, is it not always in the easement for the power lines, for example?
It's not always in the right of way, correct.
Right.
We may offer that, there may not be space there because of other underground infrastructure or whatnot. Again, we prefer to plant a tree that's going to grow large, so we're going to be away from that. We're actually planting on private property in a lot of these
That's
cases,
what I wanted to know.
which
Thank you.
the aftercare and maintenance falls to the resident for that tree as opposed to the city.
And I'm assuming, Kurt, a lot of those will be terrace trees?
Yes.
Okay.
If there is a tree right now that is known to be about maybe 60 foot at full height, and it's on the terrace, can a property owner call you up and ask if you would like to move it out of there? If it's not too old, could that be transplanted?
I do hazard mitigation inspections every fall. In fact, I'm starting right now. Trees that pose a hazard due to insect or disease, old age, or whatever, they're removed on a systematic basis. And so, I mean, the trees that we remove for line clearance, we have those trees that we're proposing to take down, but we also have trees that are regularly scheduled to come down because they're aging out, or they're hazardous, or there might be other infrastructure issues they might be removed for. So, the 80 to 100 trees we're talking about removing, in your case, there's an additional 50 to 75 trees come out of the terraces every year in our annual program that don't impact lines. That they're just trees that have gotten too old or they're dangerous.
Thanks.
Do we have to replace so many trees to keep a tree city designation?
We just have to have an active program. There's some other criteria that we have to meet, but there's not a fixed number, there's not a one-to-one ratio. We're not even close to that at this point. But to maintain our certification, that will be no problem. We have to budget a certain amount of money to do tree maintenance, tree replacement, tree removal, the whole program.
In Parks employees plan all of these?
The last few years of Parks employees have been planting about 2/3 of the trees. We've been contracting about 1/3. And from all sources, to give you an idea, because we get money from Parks and Rec, we get memorial trees, we get money from you folks, and we also get some money from the engineering department. Last year we planted 78 trees overall.
Any questions? Any more questions?
Glad you're here.
If you ever have any questions about the tree program, give me a call, shoot me an email.
Well, I'd like to move that we designate and donate $4,000 to the Parks and Rec for the tree program.
I'll second.
Karen?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
I also want to thank Court. This is the first year that we've had a real maintenance vegetation line clearance program since he's come aboard to assist us. And it's really went very well. I think the works that needed to get done is getting done. And Court has done a great job of communicating with residents so that they are aware of what's going on and why. And it's really helped keep better relations with the community.
I believe we're going to get most of the way through the system this year. There's going to be a few areas that we won't get to because of the extremely wet weather in the spring, some of the off-road areas, but we're going to, by and large, have the system pretty well cleared to spec, and then we can, next year, the plan is to go through and maybe remove some of these trees that have been heavily trimmed, that have been problems year after year, and systematically replace those.
Do you determine if the tree that's been heavily trimmed needs to be removed, or do you go on property owners' requests? Or
We'll talk with the property owner if they have a concern, but usually it's my determination.
You make the call?
We have an awful lot of silver maples in town, which grow really fast, as you know. We trim them back so they're within specs this year, and in 3 years they're going to be burning on the lines again. So those sorts of trees we just as soon get rid of.
next on the agenda is a motion to reject all bids for the Industrial Drive Substation construction project.
Yes, you have information in your packet regarding the 2 bids that we received for construction in the Industrial Drive substation. Both of those exceeded, they were greater than 10% over the engineer's estimate. So by law, we have to reject those bids and start again. So we're just asking for a motion from the board to do so. So we'll take a look at reviewing the project scope, the engineer's estimate, and see what we can do to try to get this back out on the street.
Kevin, do you have any idea why it was so much higher? Was it the time of bid?
I think that impacted it, and, there were some additions to the scope. I didn't think they were significant enough to impact the cost like it was, but I do believe the timing of it was probably not great. Both of these firms we've worked with in the past, and they're good firms. We actually, I think, had solicited or distributed packets to 6 bidders. Only these 2 showed up for the pre-bid meeting, and when the bids came in, both of them were significantly more than what we had estimated. So we're going to take a look at things like perhaps even de-scoping some of the site prep work, see if we can do that locally here somehow, and then see where else, maybe with the time frame being extended compared to what we originally thought due to the long lead times on some of that equipment, the transformer and the power control center particularly, which aren't expected to be there until early spring or late spring or early summer, I should say. We may be able to, by extending that completion date, get more interest as well.
There was a large difference between the labor costs between the
Yes, there was.
2
Yeah,
companies.
it's interesting, I think, what happened there. You get payment when you deliver materials oftentimes, so I think one firm was trying to put most of the cost in the material costs so that they could get their money faster, is what it appears to be to us. If you look at the 2, they're almost exactly opposite, right?
Yeah.
One has a higher labor cost and a much lower,
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw that. That did stand out as being a little bit out of line.
Mhm.
So in that way, because of the numbers and the exceptions taken to the bid, I'm glad we do have to go back out
Yeah.
and give us a chance to.
I think so too, and, we discussed taking a look at those bid specifications too and making sure that they're not a disincentive in some way or the contract terms. We have a very well-developed set, as you know, of boilerplate bid documents that get coupled with a technical specification. But in these cases, we've used more of GPP's documents, and I think that may also be impacting us here. So,
Any more questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
second.
Jim?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is a resolution. Lori, would you read the number, please?
Resolution number 38, 2019, authorizing change order number 1 for the Town Line Road Water Main Replacement Project.
Yes, the Town Line Road Water Main Replacement Project is completed as of the end of August. I think the contractor did a really nice job. If you've gotten an opportunity to drive out there, the restoration work even looks pretty good. Now, there could be some settling yet that we'll have to address, but generally they did a nice job of keeping the street open for residents and working with local residents on access, and work went very well. And, as you know, we had budgeted, I think, almost $750,000 for this project. The total came in about $100,000 less than that. So all in all, it took them about 10 weeks. They laid almost 4,000 feet of 12-inch water main on one of our very heavily traveled thoroughfares. So all in all, I think the project went very, very well. So you have a change order here. This will be the final cost. It's a deduction of $1,365.
Any questions?
Now, is it a fantastic job. You got money back.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good. Okay, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
Is that 3? Next is affects semi-monthly disbursements. Can I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second.
Dick?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
Good job, everybody at the utility.
Next, comment from EPA and staff. Derek?
Thanks to the Parks and Rec for doing all they do. Along with the tree trimming, it really helps out, so. When you take down trees, it's always nice to put some back up, so. Thanks, everybody. And thanks to the electric department, because there's been quite a few outages, and I know they work after hours and that sort of thing, so. Good job on their part for getting us back up and going.
I'd like to ditto the same. Thanks again, Kurt, for kind of supervising that line crew too. They're pretty aggressive. Sounds like they've been,
They did aggressive turning this time.
yeah, they're doing a good job. I know you're probably getting complaints about, are you cutting too much of my tree? It's gotta be done. And I'm all for cheating squirrels. Getting down the line. Again, too, I don't know if anybody brought up about the mutual aid. We sent a crew down to Florida to stand by for the hurricane.
Right.
They weren't needed, but I appreciate the guys, the crew going down. That's all I have.
Karen?
I agree with all your comments, and I guess I just have one follow-up. Lori, we do, in previous years, we've used a resolution to donate the tree money for the trees. Do we actually need a
The motion
resolution?
should be okay.
Motion should be okay. Thank you.
Yep.
That's it.
I just have one question on the Town Line Road. Is there a plan then to resurface that in the near future?
And that's my understanding. The city engineer talked about that last night at the council meeting and is applying for some grant money to do that. If it's acquired, then I believe his hope is to try to get that done next year.
That would be nice. That's all.
Okay.
Just a couple of things. The crews replaced the street lights in the 200 block of South Main Street this week. We still have one more block of those old square brown street lights in the 100 block of North Main. We'll try to get those done next year, but they certainly make a nice improvement down there. And they've got the conduit, for the most part, finished to do the same thing on the 100 block of North Lynn. So we've got to get the foundations put in place for that. That will then be converted from those old 1940s vintage street lights to the Acorn style lights with underground service as well. And then just wanted to mention the Alive After 5 event Thursday night downtown. Almost 30 businesses and organizations are participating in that. They're staying open till 8 o'clock and for people to come out. They've got drawings and music and refreshments and things. So it should be another fun time down in Bryan, downtown. That's all I have.
I actually do have something. First, I'd like to thank VPA and BMU for their donation to the trees and partnering with us to renew the Tree City. I publicly want to thank Court for all of his work. He is wearing dual hats both for the city and BMU and has done a tremendous job over the last few years doing that. And then I should have mentioned this at council last night and I didn't have it on my notes, so if you don't mind, cards have been mailed out for your 3 garbage bags that you get, city residents, every year. And we have about 1,400 residents that have not claimed those and only 2 more pickup days. That is tomorrow and also next Wednesday from 3 to 7. You can pick those up at the street department. Make sure you sign your card beforehand. And if for some reason you didn't get a card in the mail, please contact Lori's office at the clerk treasurer and they can get you a new card. So.
Laura?
I'm sorry.
Mr. Betts? Court? No? Department
Thank you for
heads?
the donation.
No, you're welcome. Department heads? Anybody?
I have two things. One, the Bryan Development Foundation has put together the second annual Downtown Cleanup Day, and that will be this Saturday, September 21st. If you come at 7:30, there'll be donuts and coffee, with the festivities to start about 8. If you could also bring leaf blowers, it would be greatly appreciated if you want to participate. Last year, it was a huge success. I think that a lot of people left there extremely shocked. Once you walk the downtown and some of the back alleyways and get to see some of the, pulling weeds and sweeping the sidewalks and cleaning up, it really does make a huge impact. That was the first thing. Second thing is BMU will be hosting an open house at the Electric Distribution Building on October 8th. I placed a card at each one of your seats. The community is invited from 3 to 6 October 8th back there. Plenty of parking. This year we're going to do some activities for the kids. Bounce house, safety demonstrations, and touch a truck. And as always, we'll have grilled hot dogs and popcorn. So, all are welcome.
And electric vehicle demonstration.
I'm sorry, I did forget that. Yes. We'll have an electric charging station and an electric vehicle on site. So if you want to see what that's all about, you can come check it out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Anyone else? Max? I'll just add, as far as the tree trimming program goes, whatever it is we're doing this year seems to be working well, because from everything I've seen, and I've lived through quite a few years of tree trimming programs in this town, this one seems to be the best, and probably, I guess you could say, the least painful. But they do, they seem to be doing a good job. I guess that's all I got. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Dick?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.